Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today we're getting an up-close look at the Nachmund miniatures for Warhammer Kill Team. We're going to have a look at all of the terrain features, which I have assembled, primed, and duraluminumed, and then we're going to look at all of the individual models of the Warhammer Kill Teams, Chaos Space Marines, and Aeldari Corsairs. We're going to check out what their options were, any difficulties I found, which wasn't any in particular, just a couple of things messed up in the assembly guide that you may want to consider when you're putting it together yourself. Oh, here we are, Nachmund. There is also a mat that it comes with, and it comes with the Nachmund book, which does not have the full rules of Kill Team inside of it, but it does have 9 missions, which I do believe I shall be going through on the channel, and it has the stats for these 2 kill teams. Now, oh, and not only does it have the stats for these 2 kill teams, but it also has the stats for every piece of this terrain that you see. There's stats for every one of them, which gives you a little bit of extra, which is used in each of the missions. Sometimes you have to turn off a particular piece of terrain to complete a mission, or you have to turn it on, or someone has to keep you from turning it on, or even something as simple as these guys can work as obscuring terrain because there's actually plumes of smoke and gas emitting out of it all the time. I like how interactive you can have these terrain pieces, and how interactive the Nachmund missions immediately are with all of these different terrain pieces. Now, these terrain pieces are not exclusive to Nachmund. These are redone pieces that you can find in a bunch of variety of different sets, or standalone in some cases. Like one of these guys would be a standalone piece all on its own. All of the terrain pieces, so I gloss blacked it. I primed it with gloss black, and then I did duraluminum, just one shade for now, over top, so that you can see all the lovely details of this. And the only thing is that you do have to spend a bit more time on removing these mold lines if you wish to, since it goes right down the center. But I didn't spend that much time on it, and even though it goes right down the center, you can't really see it with a little bit of plastic glue. But you know, these are all terrain pieces, so what odds anyway. These, as you can see, have spots that you can attach all of these pieces, so there's no need to glue any of these pieces. Each of the terrain platforms has an enormous variety of ways that you can put these cute little pieces to make each one different as you see fit. And they stick in just fine so that you can enjoy your terrain pieces any which way you want. I suppose some of you have already encountered all this, but this is the same sort of thing. You can put it on, take it off as you like, and that's why I really like the modularity. Get on there. How did I put you on? Oh, I moved you. I really like the modularity of this particular Adeptus Mechanicus terrain pieces, so that you can build it up whichever way you want. As you can see, I was just attaching these pipes. I have assembled everything as it is in Nachmund, in the Nachmund assembly guide specifically. So they wanted it assembled just like this, but as you can see, you could easily glue one of these pieces on. So this one, I assembled it like this, so I could pop it on top. Oh, one thing about the assembly guide for this thing, it is a very straightforward thing to put together, yes, but for some reason this assembly guide is missing the fact that you have to put one of these 4 pieces that you get with it on this bottom piece so that it doesn't wobble around. So that is how you stabilize it. For some reason the assembly guide missed that fact. Of course, you can see it on the box, but just making note of it. Besides that, all the assembly guides are perfectly straightforward. You follow the instructions and you follow your eyes, really, and you'll be able to assemble. This one being the most difficult of the bunch. You'll be able to assemble these guys just fine. I kept it off its case so that I could reorient it on this thing however I saw fit. Don't really need to do that, but I wanted to, so I did. It has 4 little wheels that keep it in place. Let's have a look at these Chaos Space Marines. They are just simple Chaos Space Marines. You can put on these shoulder pads on each one. You can put the arms on everyone. I tried to assemble them more for melee. There are 6 chain swords, more than 6 little bolt pistols. If you're using a chain sword, that you'd be using a bolt pistol. More than 6 little bolt pistols, but only 6 chain swords. And I assembled 2 aspiring champions. Not for Kill Team. Kill Team you can only use 1, but you're only using 7 guys in Kill Team, so you get some extra, some leeway on how you want to assemble your Kill Team. Here is 1 aspiring champion, but for 40k I would want to use, where's the other one? This one? Yeah. Yeah, this one. But for Warhammer 40,000 I'd want to put them in groups of 5, so an aspiring champion each. There's only 1 fist, there's only 1 power maul, there's only 1 power axe, but I mean you have a lot of leeway on how you assemble them. And now all the rest of these guys. The helmets go on whichever way you want. There are more than enough helmets. There's a bunch of unhelmeted fellows too, which I'll show you, but there's more than enough helmets for 10 of your men, because I used all helmets and there's still more helmets besides. You get lots of options. You have more than enough bolt guns if you want to give everyone bolt guns. You have backpacks that can go on anyone. You have arms that can go on anyone. Of course, I always suggest make certain that you get your specialty guys done first, so that you have all the arms and the left and right arms enough for everyone. And all the shoulder pads can go on whichever one you want. The chest plates are, they suggest a particular chest plate for each one, but I think you do have some leeway for about 6 of them. I do not know what this weapon is. I added it because it looked good. It is an enormous weapon. It is not the rocket launcher. It has an extra cartridge, I guess, on its back. I thought maybe it's some kind of flamer, but it doesn't have the suggestion of a flamer up here. I don't know what weapon this is. I've not seen it before. Maybe when they actually put out the new Chaos Space Marine Codex, which I can only assume is coming, I'll know what this enormous weapon is. There's the big old cannon that they've had before. By the way, on the assembly guide it says it suggests to put your arms onto his body first. I would suggest putting the arms onto the gun first. It connects at the wrists, so it's just easier, and it connects well at the wrist, so I suggest putting your arms on first, and then you can just slide the arms onto the torso and put it on your shoulder pads after, just to make it easier on yourself. And this is 3 separate pieces. It's pretty straightforward to put it on. You want to assemble it as the guide suggests in that point. Everything notches on in a particular location, except for these chains that attach to his belt. You kind of just have to figure it out where it goes based on how this bends and attaches to this little piece. So make certain it attaches to this piece, and just put, you know, plastic glue somewhere behind there to keep it on his butt without making it look like it'll fall off. It was straightforward. All of these Chaos Space Marines were quite straightforward to put together. It did not take me long. And, oh right, I didn't assemble an icon bearer. And, but there's an icon bearer. You get a couple different options. Let me have a look at, all right, let's start looking at all these extra pieces. There's some special kill team guys that don't necessarily translate over into Warhammer 40,000, so I didn't particularly worry about them, but as you see, you got a bunch of different arms and swords and axes and icon bearers. You can there's definitely enough to make 2 icon bearers if you wanted to split. I checked out the current stats of icon bearers, and since I would be going Khorne, I didn't really feel a need for the 10 points to reroll to reroll charge rolls. I just used a command point for that. Didn't think my 10 points would be worth it. Went instead with a power fist. As you can see, there's a whole bunch. This is just 1 sprue. There's 2 sprues for Chaos Space Marines. I mean, technically there's 3, but one of them is actually just broken into 2 pieces. So for assembly guide purposes, there's this B sprue and 1 A sprue. That's actually 3 segments. There, see, lots of extra pieces that you could choose from. A few more that I clipped off and was like, oh, wait, actually, I'm not going to be using them after all. There's 1 rocket launcher. As I said, there's some extra. These are the 2 icon bearer options. One of the models is like a Psyker, so Khorne. I didn't make it because I'm Khorne, but there is a Psyker model that has a nice little, where is it? Did I already show it? I don't think so. He's got, it's probably here. He's got flame in his hand. Oh, there it is. For the Psyker model, there's the flame. As you can see, it's right at the wrist, and there are a bunch of different arms that will fit into it. So you could take that flame and go with it somewhere. It really allows you to take whatever of these models that you didn't use here and put them wherever else. So that's really nice. All right, so as I said, lots of arms to custom build your guys as you like. This is part for the rocket launcher. There's the rocket launcher. There's a hand just holding the ammunition of a bolt gun. Oh, 7. Oh, there's another chainsaw. Okay, there's 7 chainsaws. I just made some specialty guys. Bolt gun. Oh wait, no, that's a plasma gun. Plasma gun. Bolt gun. These little thingamajiggies. Oh, a couple. Let's see. You're not sure. Where's the last one? There. It's the last one. And there's technically 1 sprue for the Corsairs. It's been broken off and cut into 2, but for assembly guide purposes, it counts as 1. Start showing yourself. 1 sprue. Some more heads I didn't use. A torso I didn't use because I used an extra aspiring champion. Bolt guns, bolt guns. Not a bolt gun, auto bolt. A flamer. An axe. Ammunition. A gun that I'm not immediately familiar with off the top of my head. A couple more hits. All right. Yeah. Show you a couple more chaos specimens. They're basically, I mean, they kind of feel like all the same to me. I just used my favorite heads, or the head that I happened to get first. If you are one to go ahead and drill out the holes of your guns, then you will need to do that, because none of the guns have, well, none of the regular bolt guns or bolt pistols have holes drilled out of them. So, have I shown you this guy? Some of them were not designed with this guy and this guy in mind, and I just forced it on them. When you go into the assembly guide, they don't necessarily say, here you are, this is for this, this one is for this particular model, and this is for this particular model. Why does it feel like... Don't mind that, that's the radiator. It kind of feels like the arm may have moved while it was drying. Whoops. Or maybe this was the guy that's like, he's totally charging with his head, using his head. Stop being creepy, radiator. All right, there's that. All right, now we've got the Corsairs. So these Corsairs are Drukhari or Aeldari. I made them with a Aeldari vibe. More so anyway. There was two ways that you could, well, okay, so there's one way that there's a whole bunch of different ways you can build them for Kill Team, but there's two different ways that you can build them for Warhammer 40,000. So, there's Corsair Void Reapers, which are more basic, right? So these are the more basic ones, because you just have a Corsair, you'd have 4 to 9 Corsair Void Reavers and 1 Void Reaver Fellark. That's all you would want. That's all you would want to build. But I went with the ones that, these are like 9 points per person, and these are like 12 points per person, or 10 or 11, around there. But these guys are a little bit more per person, but I thought it would be worth it, because you have not only 4 to 9 Corsair Void Scars and your Void Scarred Fellark, but you also have a Shade Runner, a Soul Weaver, and a Wayseeker. And I thought, why not? Let's have those in too. Those are models that you do make in the, for Nachmund. You do make that for Kill Team. You make a whole much more than that for Kill Team, but I simply made a Shade Runner, a Fellark, a Soul Weaver, and a Wayseeker, and all the others I just made regular Corsair Void Scarred, and I kept them with their Shuriken Pistol and their Aeldari Power Sword. I did not add, or I may have, I don't think I added any of the extra things except for the Fellarks. I gave him a Neuro Disruptor, and I did choose the Mist Shield, not that you get to see it. Oh, and one of them I think I gave a big rifle to. No, I didn't. I decided not to afterwards. There were a couple that did not necessarily, according to the assembly guide, take the Shuriken Pistol and Aeldari Power Sword. I ignored that. I went ahead and did that anyway because you can. And since you can, I did. I just like these better. I like having a Psyker in there. I thought it was worth the extra points to add those extra models in. Now, those extra models. So let's have a look at these guys. Are boys and girls. I didn't particularly like the faces of the girls, so I went with heads that I was okay with though. Here's this guy. He's got his Shuriken Pistol and his blade. What's that? Did I leave that on there? Oh no, it's just a little piece of fluff. And there are more than enough heads to give them all helmets, but I wasn't that keen on the helmets, so I did not go with that. These are not as difficult models to assemble. Maybe a dozen pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think this is only 8 pieces. Feels about right. About 8 pieces. Maybe some of them were a bit more, but these weren't difficult to build. Everything was, you can rearrange the sword arm and this arm to be as you want it, orient them as you like. This one, you have to be a bit more careful about how you orient it because his shoulder is revealed. It attaches right at the shoulder point and it is revealed, while this one gives you the protection of the shoulder pad. If you mess up the join any bit, it is hidden. Here's another one. This guy could have had a little bird. He could have been sending off a little bird. You see his little feathers, and I kept the head to be the same as well, with the little feather in his hair because I liked it. But when I saw the bird, I was like, oh, I want to keep that bird for something else. Where is that bird? It's a bird. Because it's a full bird. And in Kill Team there was something. He was a special character, but in 40k, which I would be playing more often, presumably, it wasn't. In 40k, there is no character that would specifically have a bird, and so I left it out, so I had a bird. He's got a fist attached to him, but you could see that you could cut that off easy peasy. So I have a bird. More than enough blades and guns. We've got some extra guns, some shuriken rifles. You can each have a shuriken rifle instead of the pistol and sword that I took. And then this is the Dark Reaper weapon. It's like a Reaper cannon, I think is the name on it. Or maybe Reaper rifle. It's the Dark Reaper weapon anyway. There's more heads than you need. There's more faced heads, as well as these helms. I took one off thinking that I would just put them all in helms, and I was like, no thanks. All sorts of little extra things. Extra heads I didn't use. Did not use this head. This head was designed for one of the particular fancy models. Come here, here it is. But I'm just not a fan, so I actually used the one that they suggested for the Felarch. I used that one instead. There's two different heads for the Felarch, and I used the alternate one for the Wayseeker. I think it's the Wayseeker. I'll show you which one I mean anyway. I didn't use that head because I wasn't too keen on it. But it's there, okay. Yeah, a whole bunch of extra. Alright, I showed you that one. I showed you this one. Here's one of the special characters. I really like the look of her. She looked cool. Was this character part of the reason I went with building this? Probably, because I would have been sad not building her. I like her a lot. If you do not add this crossed, come here. If you don't add the crossed swords option, it still is a completely completed miniature. So if you don't like that, then you don't have to add it. And of course, underneath this generator, you have the option of just adding their usual thingy magicy Eldar thingy. It could be under there instead. So it makes a regular Corsair or this specialty one. But of course I wanted the specialty one because she looked nice. Here's the Wayseeker, only has one head option. Of course you could use any of the others. This staff would pretty well show it to be a Wayseeker, but I was content with the original style it wanted to go with. These little thingies can go on anyone. Anyone works with any character. If you wanted to give her a gun instead, there's plenty of a gun instead. There's plenty of different options for that. You can attach at the shoulder as all the others. So I was content with it looking like that, so I can easily identify him. Here is what I went with for the Felarch. Again, he has the Neuro Disruptor, which is like a pistol but more powerful. And his sword And this is one of the head options for him. I like how none of the cloaks are, all of the cloaks are in one piece. The only thing you attach to a cloak is this thing. All the cloaks are in one piece. There's no fixing any cloaks. Very much enjoy that. That was a relief. That was a nice breath of fresh air. Here's one guy. I was tempted because it was like, why is he on the ground with a blade? He had 2 blades originally. The original model suggested having either 2 different long-range weapon items or 2 blades, and I was like, nah, he doesn't have 2 blades. He has this guy, so that's what I went. Yes, he does have it on his holster, and I didn't need to do it, but I wanted him to have like that, and it seemed better. I don't know why he's on the ground like this. If he's not sniping, that's why I was tempting on putting on one of the long-range things, because this is definitely, oh, oopsies, he's missing one of these. Where'd it go? Did I forget to put it on? I might have forgotten to put it on. I'll just go grab one. Dun, 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 dun. There's more than enough. Get more than enough. This one. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, trick. If you find that it's difficult to take it off without having an enormous sprue piece that you have to get off, you can just gently twist it instead. And then you don't have to worry about as much sprue. I mean, normally I would take that off, but that's fine. Okay, just so I can get it on again. Do I have glue nearby always? Of course. Do. Boop. Hey. Now, mister, you stay on. Don't fall off. Okay. There he is. Now he's done. Alright, that's him. Here's another regular guy. Sure. Oh yeah, she's a girl. I didn't particularly like the faces, as I said, so I gave her what looked like a kind of feminine helmet. She's like my Mandalorian of the bunch. She just never takes off her helmet. No one knows what she looks like. It seems like a Corsair thing to be. It doesn't like get too close. Yeah. And there we go. This guy. Just like that. I like their cloaks with their random skins. So here is the not Wayseeker. What's the name of it? Soul Weaver. Yeah. Wayseeker. Okay. Wayseeker Soul Weaver. She's the one that I gave the head of the other fella to, because this looked Soul Weaver-y enough, the head. It suggests to put this piece on before you attach her arm. The arm and her hand are 2 different pieces. And though this is not a difficult piece to put on, but just for a little bit of ease, I would suggest putting her arm onto her body first and then attaching this to the arm. Just found that simpler than the vice versa that they suggested. That's all. Nice sword on their back, isn't it? Of course, you could be holding... You could put this on instead. But they gave the option of this nice sword, which looks great. So I was like, why not? And that's how you're supposed to build it anyway. Alright, and lastly, we got this one. Another one who has her weapon in her holster. But it's alright. She's in lore. She's very good with the blade. She's going to be one who always hits. Right, lady? You're going to be one that always hits. That's why you have your weapon holstered in the middle of a combat, because you're using your blade and you need your hands free for more momentum. And again, all of their cloaks are 1. I have to say that all the locations of where you cut these pieces off the sprue was quite nice. There were no really awkward places. I mean, you could say that this little curve, because it attaches to the sprue right in the center there, this little curve could be a bit awkward, but you can twist all of them off, and that makes it easier. Didn't mind at all. All right. I don't think I showed everything. We've got this piece. We got 2 of these pieces. We have 2 of these. Where's the other one? We have 2 of these pieces. Got this piece, which you do not have to put these guys in. Actually, it suggests that you don't. For that, and everything here has rules, so that's fun. And they do slide in and then attach at the back, so you don't have to worry about it falling out unless you really are not kind to them. We've got these 2 pieces. We've got these 2 with their removable edges, which I did not get to the duraluminum yet. And again, this one can be hit up on the bottom with all those fancy pieces. We have these 2 pieces, which has the option of either having this piece on or this piece. This one fits too if you prefer it that way. This is something that you can use as, you can use these guys in your Nachmund mission, as in you can go and explore underneath them if you have them on the table like this, which is why I set these guys up to be on top of them instead. And I did glue it, but I did not glue this one very much. It's fine. I'll glue it later. We've got those ones I showed. These pieces. I did not glue anything that I didn't have to. So these pieces are all unglued. And these pieces, more than enough pieces to get everything set up so it's not wobbly. A couple in the back. Another round piece. And one of these got slightly different. Oh, apparently I missed this side. Slightly different pieces. And come here, yo. These pieces clamped on as you like, and as long as you let it cure, your primer shouldn't come off. It might be better for you to use, I know my duraluminum, so I'm okay with this, but you might want to make certain that whatever is painted on these edges and in here, if you are painting on the insides of here, is being done with primer so that it's less likely to come off once it is cured. This has only been primed for a day or so, so it's not even cured yet, but it's fine. Here's the door, which you can have either closed or open if you feel like having more work for yourself painting. This is one piece, so there's no way to paint it prior to putting it together. That is how you get it. Steady hands or a door. Me, I've left it so that I can keep the door open or closed if I want to. So the bottom is actually heavy terrain where it's obscuring, so you can't actually shoot around it, right? And then this is traversable and light cover, so you get a plus, you get an immediate successful save when you're doing shooting attacks. Ruin their cover, but ensure your own. And in some of the missions, you definitely have to get up somewhere to do it. I really like those missions where you're not just shooting at each other, you've got to do something else. I very like that. For some reason, this one, I thought for sure in previous editions you could do something with this crane, but at least in Nachmund rules, it's just a heavy terrain piece, so it's obscuring. You can't shoot through it when you're behind it. I hope they get a little piece where you could actually use it. 'Cause I feel like they had that before, but it's been so long now, I can't remember. Is it? I have shown you, besides the connector pieces for this thing, I've shown you all of Nachmund. Nachmund. I hope that was useful to you. And if you had any questions about anything, make certain you comment below. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did. Subscribe, of course, if you want to check out how I do a very simple blue turquoise glow, the plasma glow that I'll have on these terrain pieces. I'll also put it on a little miniature so that you can see it in miniature size for anyone who wants to try it out with the plasma guns. It should be same principle, but you may need to skip a couple details just because of its size. It's teeny size. All right, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Did I come here just so I could have him in the background? No, of course not.